Hello and welcome. I'm so grateful that you're here tuning in to this high frequency conversation of all things spirituality, unlearning, relearning who we were meant to be, releasing, surrendering, 5D, creating heaven on earth. Welcome. Come on in. Thank you so much for being here today. I want to talk about something that is highly, highly requested, maybe one of the most requested conversations that you guys wanted me to have, which is all about boundaries and creating energetic boundaries, protecting your energy. And this one is a lot to unpack. So, we are energy. We are multidimensional beings, and we are each vibrating at a specific frequency. And sometimes when we interact with other people, they may be on a different frequency than us, which isn't right, wrong, good, or bad. It's just different. And we can take on that energy. And sometimes it doesn't feel right in our body. And I think the hardest part about this is that it's often with the people we love the most. So I don't know about you, but I've experienced this with family members, even parents who I love dearly, but there are times where you need to create boundaries. And this is the thing. The more you go deeper into energy healing and specifically Kundalini, the more sensitive you actually become to energy, the more you pick up on other people's energy. And sometimes it hits you like a ton of bricks. And that's a real thing. And we clear ourselves from so much that we're holding on to through this practice that we become much clearer channels, which actually makes us much more sensitive and able to pick up on other people's energy, which is a blessing, but sometimes feels like a little too much at times. But we just need to know how to protect ourselves. And today I'm going to talk to you about some ways that I protect my energy and just overall creating boundaries, how it's so challenging at times and ways to overcome that challenge. So to start, as I said before, boundaries usually have to be put in place with the people we love the most. And those people aren't used to the boundaries that we're about to put in place because we've had a relationship with them when we were a little maybe less aware of our needs. And the more we go on this journey, we become more and more and more aware of our needs. So it can be uncomfortable for us to create a boundary, and it could be uncomfortable for them to hear and receive that we're creating a boundary. So it can be a very uncomfortable conversation. However, the deeper you go with your practice and the more you get to unpack about yourself and the more you lean into your divine truth and essence, the easier it gets to speak your truth and be able to share your needs. So with any suggestion I give to anyone, it always starts with your morning practice of Kundalini because I feel like it's given me thousands of years of therapy. And I definitely needed therapy. I actually never did go to talk therapy. I found this practice and I felt like it gave me everything I needed. And again, everyone's circumstance is different. This is just my experience. But I love turning it back to that because it's all within you. And this practice is to empower you and show you that so much is within you. And it also works great coinciding with any type of therapy or energy healing as well. So it doesn't mean quit your therapist, continue to do what works for you. But as I would say, this helps you to really get in touch with who you are and feel that confidence and that knowing to make really powerful decisions for yourself that at times are uncomfortable. So I believe I want to address a few different things in this conversation. But I want to talk a little bit about parents and boundaries with parents because I think that there's like this big elephant in the room that we need to discuss. So, most of our parents didn't have access to the information that we have access to today. They didn't have access to the healing modalities as we do. They didn't have access to this practice. Most likely, some may have, but for the most part, it's woo woo, it's out there, and it wasn't really widely accepted. And it's wonderful if they even maybe thought of getting therapy or get therapy. This mental health movement is really happening now over the last, I don't know how many years, but it may not have been prevalent in when your parents grew up. And I want to start off by saying our parents did the best they could possibly do with what they had. And for the most part, of course, I don't know your story, but most of our parents tried to do the best that they could, and using what they had and what they knew. And it's interesting because I feel like every generation that comes tries to do something differently than the generation before. So I know with my mom, she recognized some things in her mother that didn't feel the best for her, and she wanted to make sure she gave me that. But then there's me that will see things that my mom may have done with us, or even just in her own life. And then I might want to do that differently as I continue on, if I choose to have children and raising them. So we're all just trying our best. And if you're a parent, I want you to know that too, that you're doing the best you can, and that's all you can do. And that's it. And we have this practice to help us be the best person we could be, the best parent we could be, the best wife we could be, and so on and so on. So given that, there's a little bit of or a lot of bit of reparenting happening here. So I actually I might get emotional actually, because I wasn't prepared to talk about it, but it's coming through. I hold a lot of my parents' energy within me, a lot of their relationship trauma within me, a lot of their personal struggles within me. And it is heavy fucking shit. Excuse the language, but it deserves that. And it's interesting because I think maybe some people might see me and be like, oh, she's so positive and she thinks life is rainbows and butterflies. Like, I work through a ton of shit to get to the place I am. And I make the decision every day to stay in this space where I could easily just struggle deeper. So through my practice, actually in Kundalini training, towards the end, I would say one of the last days of training, I had this revelation that I wasn't just at Kundalini training for me and fulfilling my Dharma. I had the clearest message from Divine that said, you are here because you are healing your parents and you're healing those who came before you. And that I cried immediately, and I texted my mom and I told her that. And it was the most powerful thing in the world to know that I was divinely guided to this practice, not just for me, but to actually fix some of the things that the human Erica was incapable of fixing as a daughter. And just as a human, I needed to tap into this multidimensionality and this energy. And it's pretty incredible the shifts that I've seen take place in other people in my family from my practice. And this isn't to take credit. This is so not about taking credit at all. I love my family so much. All I want is them to be happy and live a happy life. And I would do anything for them. And as I started to practice, I couldn't keep this joy and this healing just for me. And I brought them and their struggles into my practice each day. And I sent them healing, and I sent them the longtime sun, and I sent them healing energy. And it truly made a huge difference in their lives. And I could tell you specific stories, but I want to stay on topic here. So with this comes creating of boundaries with people we truly love. And as I was saying before, there's this reparenting happening where we are learning so much, and we're able to share that with our parents. We're able to send that healing to them, and we're able to clear that whatever it might be that's not of a high vibration before it gets passed to another generation. That's literally what we're doing through this practice. We're healing generations of trauma, and we're healing DNA, and we're healing things that are within us that just, it's ready to go. It's old earth energy and it's ready to go. And we're creating this new earth energy. So with these challenging relationships we may have, or these wonderful relationships we may have, we might need to create boundaries. And those boundaries may look different for everyone. And they may not be easy to make, but something that I've recognized was I was doing something over and over again out of love, out of concern, out of wanting to be a great daughter, a great sister. And every single time I did it, I was left feeling the same exact way. I felt depleted. I felt depressed. I was often in tears, and it just felt too much. And one day came where I said, okay, I'm ready to create a boundary. And I laid it out there, and it was hard, but I went through so much and felt so many emotions. And the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and getting the same result. And in that moment, I recognized that. I continue to do the same thing. I continue to go out of my way for other people. I continue to put myself out there to be a good person, to do what I thought was right. And I was left feeling the same way every time. And it was time to create a boundary. So I created something that I felt was fair, and fair to me, fair to the other party, and put that in place, let them know. I did it through text message, so it'd be nice and easy, no long conversation or argument or rehashing of what went on, and just said, this is what I need, and I'm willing to give you this, but you have to give me this. And there we go. And it felt amazing. And I'm sticking to it. It's been maybe like 2 months. But that could be hard, sticking to it. But understanding that you are feeling emotions and heavy, maybe dense feelings, thoughts, energy for a reason. And sometimes it takes us to transmute that and shift out of it and rise above it. And then there are other times where a boundary needs to be put in place. And that's up to you to figure out and decide. Your intuition will always tell you, always tell you. No one else could ever tell you this. And that message alone might be the reason why you wanted this podcast to hear that, because only you are going to know when you're ready to create a boundary. Only you are going to know if you need that boundary. And you're the only one who could put that in place and stick to it. So there are a few different things I do to energetically protect myself as well. But before we get into that, I just want to stop for a moment and share a word from our sponsors. So as you guys know, Eaton Hemp is a sponsor of this podcast, and I have some of their treats right here. So I wanted to share today their super seeds, their toasted organic super seeds. So I love these. These are the maple cinnamon flavor. I love putting them on top of my smoothies. I love putting them in my oatmeal, my yogurt parfaits, any bowls that I make that I want like a sweet little crunch to. And they are flavored, delicious, crunchy hemp seeds. And hemp seeds add a ton of nutrients into our diet. So it's adding fiber, it's adding protein, it's adding the omegas. And it's just a great way to get some added nutrients that also adds flavor. So the Eaton Hemp family, I'm so grateful. They're the sponsors of this podcast, and I feel so aligned to their mission because they're organic, they're non-GMO, seed to shelf promise, and they're transparent, and they are offering you guys 30% off of your purchase. So if you visit eatonhemp.com, that's EATONHEMP.com, and use the code Erica30, you can get 30% off your purchase. So that's eatonhemp.com. Code Erica30, and you will get 30% off of your purchase. So thank you to the Eaton Hemp family, which is farmer owned. We're grateful to have you as a sponsor, and we'll get right back into our conversation. So along with boundaries, there's ways to energetically protect yourself when you're around people that might drain some of your energy, that might make you feel a little out of alignment. And I want to share some of these techniques with you. So before going anywhere that you might feel triggered or drained, taking a moment to close your eyes and tune into the aura around you. You have an electromagnetic field that surrounds your physical body. This is an energy system that literally is your first line of defense. And people even believe it's like the first line of the immune system, because if you have a strong aura, it's keeping everything that's of a lower frequency out. So just closing your eyes, tuning into that light, tuning into the shield around you, visually seeing the shield around you can really help to expand your aura out and strengthen it, so that if someone comes at you with some lower vibrational energy or a remark or something that would trigger you, or you'd feel in one of your energy centers, your chakras, it will bounce right off. Okay. So strengthening your aura by visualization is really strong. Another way is there's a strong Kundalini Kriya, which is strengthening your aura. It's a 3-part Kriya. It's hard. The first part is hard because it's push-ups and triangle pose, but then it gets easier, very powerful. I always say my husband had the flu. This is before what we're dealing with right now with the virus, but just a regular old flu. He had it, and we were like making out like while he had it because we didn't think he had the flu. And I was like, whatever, like, I'm sorry. I do Kundalini every day. I'm not getting that. So as soon as we found out it was the flu, I was like, oh crap. Wow. I forgot I'm actually human too, and I could possibly get this. So I continued to do that one every morning, and I didn't get it. And I didn't really think that was a testament to the practice, but not medical advice, just my experience. And a lot of this is whatever you believe, right? If you feel like you're protected, you most likely are. So practicing that can also strengthen your aura. Practicing Kundalini every day, tuning in with Om Namo Gurudev Namo, followed by Ad Gurudev Name, Jugad Gurudev Name, Sat Gurudev Name, Siddhi Gurudev A Name, is the protection mantra. And you can chant that every morning to protect your energy. You can listen to that mantra. I love this one playlist of all protection mantras. I highly recommend it. I always post it. And listening to it, chanting it before you're going somewhere can really help to shift your energy and get you out of that reactive space and out of that space of anticipation of other people's energy and into this space of alignment and focus. So that's another way to do that. Crystals are another great way to protect your energy. I personally like mantra better, but sometimes I'll bring in the crystals if I need something physical and tangible to hold. Shungite, black obsidian, amethyst, those are all really good protection crystals that help to protect your energy. And sometimes it just takes something to hold on to remember, like, okay, I'm protected. That can really help. There's an essential oil called white angelica, which also protects your energy field. So just taking that on your hands before going somewhere, breathing it in, tracing your aura, expanding your aura out with it is another way to protect your energy. And of course, I think it goes without saying, but really spending time with people that feel like warmth to you, that feel like a soul connection, that those are the people you want to be around most of the time. However, a lot of the people that we love, that we care for, that we respect are sometimes the ones that trigger such deep wounds in our soul. And that's when we need the boundaries or the protection at times. And I want to challenge you too, because sometimes we think like, oh, I need to protect myself from them. But there comes a time too where we need to stop and say, wait, why do I feel like I need to protect myself from them? Is there something I can uncover about myself? Is there something that I need to dig a little bit deeper on? Is there something I need to heal? Is there a reason why I feel super defensive? Why do I feel super defensive around them? Why can't I come with more compassion, more understanding, less judgment? So that is a very important aspect of this conversation too, because we never want to put the blame on someone else. We never want to feel like we're better than anyone else and we need to protect ourselves from their negative energy. It's this really fine line of being aware of what we can go in and heal, but sometimes enough is enough of putting it on us. And there comes a time where we need to create that boundary, have that difficult conversation, and protect our energy in that way. So I hope that these were helpful. Tuning into Kundalini every single day is, I think, the best way to protect your energy and give you the confidence to go about creating the boundaries that you need. And if you're challenged by creating the boundaries and you can't take action, working with the solar plexus is a very powerful, that chakra is all about taking aligned action, having confidence, and really believing in ourselves. So the Nabi Kriya is a really intense Kriya that's on the Evolve exclusive, but doing the Nabi Kriya will strengthen that whole center as well as the root chakra and the navel. And those will all help you to have the confidence and the strength to go forward and create the boundary. Breath of fire every day also helps. Wearing yellow or eating yellow foods can help to activate that solar plexus as well. So I hope that this was helpful to you. And I hope that you could see the balance between doing the work, diving deep within yourself, but then also having the strength, having the courage, knowing when it's time to create that boundary. And it is liberating, it's freeing on the other side. And there comes a time where you really deserve to protect your space and protect your peace. You do a lot of work. That's most likely why you're here. You're doing all of this work. And if you feel like the work just keeps not getting sabotaged, but just so much turmoil comes up that it takes away from it, that might be the time to create that healthy boundary and that fair boundary for you and another party or space. So I hope that this was helpful. Thank you guys so much for being part of this community and being here and allowing me to share my truths with you. And I hope you have an unbelievable day. And I hope to see you next week. May the long time sun shine upon you. Sat Nam.